In this video, I'm going to explain the app script code used for the demo Name with Intelligence Google Workspace Add-on. This add-on is featured in the video How to Build an AI-Powered Google Workspace Add-on for Google Drive, and it allows users to use AI to suggest fitting document names and rename them. Check out that video if you want to learn how to use this demo Google Workspace add-on. Throughout this video, we will be focusing on the code for interacting with Gemini 2.0 Flash through Vertex AI. Let's start out by having a look at the app script code, which enables us to send requests to Gemini 2.0 Flash. In the app script IDE, I access the code in the AI file. You can get this code demo from the GitHub repo linked in the description of this video. We have stored 3 vital pieces of information to the property service of our script, which we are retrieving: the Vertex AI region, the Gemini model, and the service account key. When working with Vertex AI, you specify a Google Cloud location for the Vertex AI API request and the model you want to use. To enable our GCP project to access Vertex AI, we use the service account key we generated in our project. The prompt we send to the model contains 3 specific instructions, and it's stored to the constant standard prompt. The first tells the model to create 3 potential document names based on the content. The second requests a summary of the content and gives details on the formatting. The third requests a response as a JSON object and containing the keys names and summary. This is to make it easier to retrieve the suggested name for the document and the summary, which are then in turn displayed to the user. As part of the prompt, we tell the model to apply these 3 instructions for the content that the user submits. Let's have a look at the function getAISummary, which we use to put together the request for the model and execute the request. Since we want Gemini 2.0 Flash to generate suggestions for document names and create summaries, we use the generate content method of the Vertex AI API. To learn more about this API, check out the developer documentation linked in the description of this video. The request body of this method requires the contents object, which represents the current conversation with the model. The first field of this object, role, is optional, and it defines the producer of the content. The value must either be user or model, and in this case, we have set user. The parts array is required, and it must contain at least one object consisting of data which has an associated data type. For our request, we have defined 2 objects with each containing a text data type. The first object contains the 3 instructions for the model which we previously discussed. The second object contains the user input. Where do we get that input from? In the UI file, we see that we retrieve the content of the Google Docs file the user selects when using our demo add-on, and use that as the parameter when we call the getAISummary function. The request body of the generate content method accepts an optional object to define the generation config. While you can configure more than a dozen settings, we only set 3 for our demo add-on. The temperature controls the creativity of the model's response. Higher temperatures lead to more creative and diverse responses. Through testing, we have found that a lower temperature for this use case, 0.2, gives the best results for our add-on. Output token limit determines the maximum amount of text output from one prompt. A token is approximately 4 characters. We have set the maximum tokens to 2048 for our add-on. Since we want the model's response to be formatted as a JSON object, we define the response time as application JSON. To call the Vertex AI API, we will be using AppScript's UrlFetchApp service. The fetch method makes a request to fetch a URL using optional advanced parameters. The URL contains the Vertex AI location and the Gemini model, with us having assigned both values to the respective constants we see being used in this part of the code. As part of the URL, we also have to add our GCP project ID. To retrieve this information, we have created the credentials for Vertex AI function, which we use in conjunction with the service account key. Next, we define the advanced parameters for calling the fetch method. We start by defining the HTTP method as post. To make the API call, we have to authenticate as a service account. Again, we use the credentials for Vertex AI function, but this time we use it to get the access token we need to make the API call. Once we have the URL and the advanced parameters in place, We call the Vertex AI API and parse the response. The successful API call returns an instance of generate content response, which contains an object with multiple fields. Please check the developer documentation to find out more about the response body. For our demo add-on, we define the relevant parts of the response body, which our getAI summary function makes available as a return value. The response is used to display the suggested name and document summary to the user. This is all the code necessary to interact with the model through the Vertex AI API for this demo add-on. If you want to access the code used in this video, follow the link in the description. Please leave the comment code videos if you would like us to make more such code walkthrough videos.